Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. William Saliba criticized after Arsenal beat Brighton 4-2. Arsenal picked up a very important victory over Brighton and Hove Albion last night, but William Saliba had an off day. The 21-year-old Frenchman has been one of Arsenal's best players this season. He has been phenomenal, but since he returned from the World Cup, he hasn't quite been himself. Alan Smith called him out on Sky Sports last night. Arsenal picked up a dominant win over West Ham United on Boxing Day, but the only negative that night was the goal they conceded early in the game. Jarrod Bowen drove into Arsenal's final third, and just as he entered the box, Saliba clipped him and conceded a penalty. The Hammers converted the spot kick, and the Gunners went a goal behind. Arsenal's front three bailed Saliba out then, but the Frenchman was again not at his best last night. He looked a bit off the pace from the start and ended up making an error that led to young Ivan Ferguson scoring in the 77th minute. Again, the mistake didn't prove to be costly for the Gunners, as Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, Edin Ketia and Gabriel Martinelli's strikes were enough to win them the game. Smith, who was covering the game for Sky Sports, claimed, "What a moment for the teenager, Ferguson, not the best from Saliba, and Ramsdale dives over it." Saliba's performance against Brighton yesterday was arguably his worst in an Arsenal shirt. He looked nothing like his usual calm self, but Gunners fans shouldn't be worried at all. The Frenchman's magnificent performances in the Premier League before the World Cup made many people forget that he is still only 21 years old. Defenders of that age are rarely that good, and it's natural that they make a few mistakes every now and then. Arteta will surely have a word with Saliba about his performance at the Amex, but the Arsenal boss will know that it's a part of his development and it will only make him stronger. The Gunners take on Newcastle next in what will be an even more difficult game. Saliba will be hoping to bounce back to his best after two very uncharacteristic performances. Rio Ferdinand picked Bukayo Saka as Young Player of the Year winners. Manchester United legend Rio Ferdinand has stated that Arsenal forward Bukayo Saka is surely already the Young Player of the Year after his superb form for the Gunners. Saka has taken his game up to another level this season, helping Mikel Arteta's side to a surprise 7-point lead at the top of the Premier League table. The 21-year-old also shone for England at the World Cup this winter, and Ferdinand has stated his opinion on Twitter that he is clearly the best young player in the league, while Manchester City striker Erling Haaland should get the Senior Player of the Year award. Arsenal fans will hope Saka stays fit and keeps up his terrific form, as they have already suffered a major scare with the injury to Gabriel Jesus. Mikel Arteta doesn't have much depth in his squad, so surely needs to keep the rest of his best players fully fit and at the top of their game for the coming weeks and months. Mikel Arteta expresses excitement at the moment Arsenal players displayed elite mentality after Brighton won. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has expressed his excitement at seeing the elite mentality being displayed by his players after the 4-2 win over Brighton yesterday. The Gunners made it 14 wins out of 16 in the Premier League, taking full advantage of Manchester City's surprise 1-1 draw at home to Everton earlier in the day to go 7 points clear at the top of the table. Arsenal fans are in a dreamland right now, as even the most optimistic Gunners surely weren't expecting their team to be in this position at this stage, but it seems Arteta and his players are keeping themselves grounded. Speaking after the game, the Spanish tactician admits that what excites him about this team is that in the dressing room after the game, his players were still focusing on what they could have done better. He said the following: "There is still a long way to go. My excitement comes when I go into the dressing room and the players are talking about what they should have done better." Arsenal will need to keep fully focused if they are to fight off the challenge of reigning champions Man City, who surely still have it in them to come back and make this title race more tense. A 7-point lead is certainly a boost for Arsenal, but they remain a relatively young and inexperienced side whose mentality will surely be tested after one or two bad results. Fabrizio Romano reassures Arsenal fans over Martin Odegaard's clause. Real Madrid reportedly do not have a buyback clause for Arsenal midfielder Martin Odegaard. The Norway international has proven a terrific signing for the Gunners, with Fabrizio Romano praising him as Edo's masterpiece in the transfer market when he managed to sign him from Madrid for just 40 million euros. Odegaard had another brilliant game for Arsenal yesterday as they beat Brighton 4-2 to go 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. The 24-year-old now looks to be at the peak of his powers, having initially moved to Real as a teenage wonderkid, but without ever quite making it into their first team. Romano praised Arsenal's work in signing Odegaard and assured fans there is no clause that could take him back to Bernabeu. Odegaard will certainly go down as one of Arsenal's best signings of recent times, with the midfielder now club captain and inspiring the team towards what now looks like a serious title challenge. Few would have expected this relatively young and inexperienced side to be ahead of Manchester City at this stage, but Odegaard has been a key part of Mikel Arteta's side's success. Arsenal joined exclusive club with remarkable stat achieved by some of England's best ever teams. Arsenal's incredible start to the Premier League season continued yesterday with a 4-2 win over Brighton that sent them 7 points clear at the top of the table. The Gunners picked up yet another 3 points, making it 14 wins from 16 games so far, with just one draw and one defeat and a tally of 43 points in total. According to Opta, this means Arsenal are only the fifth team with such a strong record at this stage of the season, putting them in the same bracket as some truly great teams such as recent champions Manchester City in the 17-18 season and Liverpool in the 19-20 season, who ended up running away with the title in the years they made such strong starts. The Chelsea side of 2005 and 6 and Tottenham's 1960-61 team also went on to be champions. So Arsenal fans will surely be starting to believe this really could be their year. Few would have expected Arsenal to be serious title contenders this term, with almost the same group of players failing to even get into the top 4 last season. Still, Manchester City dropped points again yesterday with a surprise 1-1 draw at home to Everton, so it's clear that Arsenal have a big opportunity now. AC Milan considering a move for impressive Arsenal loanee Folarin Balogun. Folarin Balogun is arguably Arsenal's most informed striker this season, although he is away from the club on loan at Reims. The youngster has hit double figures in the number of goals scored in League One this season, and the decision to send him there is fully justified. The Gunners are delighted to see him make serious progress and will be happy to have him back at the end of the season, but clubs are beginning to circle the youngster. The French top flight is one of the top 5 European leagues, so it's hard not to take Balogun's exploits seriously, and a new report reveals a top Italian club wants to sign him. A report on Calcio Mercato reveals AC Milan is now monitoring him and they could move to add him to their squad as Origi struggles with injury and the likes of Giroud and Zlatan Ibrahimovic are getting on in years. Balogun has proven he is a top talent in League One this season, and we now have to take him seriously as he develops well in France. The striker has shown us he is a good player, but we probably need to allow him to remain there for another season to complete his development. Arsenal linked Youssoufa Moukoko likes Chelsea's project. Journalist Ben Jacobs has claimed that reported Arsenal target Youssoufa Moukoko actually likes Todd Bowley's Chelsea project. The talented 18-year-old Borussia Dortmund forward has entered the final 6 months of his contract. He is a wanted man, with 3 London clubs, Liverpool, Manchester United and Barcelona, all fighting for his signature. 90 Minutes reported last month that Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool and Manchester United are all keeping an eye on Moukoko as his contract situation makes him a very attractive option. The forward, who is still only 18, has scored 6 goals and provided 6 assists in all competitions this season in just 12 starts. He is one of the brightest German prospects out there, with Dortmund old boy Erling Haaland even branding him as an amazing and the biggest talent in the world, according to the Bundesliga.com. Jacobs revealed not too long ago that Chelsea are leading Arsenal and the others in the race to sign Moukoko, and the same journalist has now claimed that the teenager is a fan of what the Blues are trying to build at Stamford Bridge. He told Give Me Sport. What we do know is that Moukoko likes the Chelsea project and pitch, so Chelsea consider themselves in the lead at the moment, but there are a lot of twists and turns that can happen because of the contractual situation. Dortmund will continue to talk to the player after the festive period to see whether or not he will or won't sign. Chelsea need to wait and understand that. Moukoko is now officially allowed to negotiate and sign a pre-contract with foreign clubs as he has entered the final 6 months of his contract at Borussia Dortmund. The teenager has proven his quality already and his potential is absolutely humongous. At the right club and under a manager who gives regular opportunities to young players, he could become a superstar in the coming years. And it's no surprise at all that a number of clubs are keen to sign him. It will be interesting to see what happens with Moukoko in the coming weeks and months. Marcus Thuram would be a bargain for Arsenal. Arsenal have been told that they will only have to pay £10.4 million if they want to sign French star Marcus Thuram in the January window. But would he be a good signing? After a solid summer transfer window that saw some quality players make the move to the Emirates, Arsenal are now sitting pretty at the very top of the Premier League. However, the Gunners were knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Brighton after losing 3-1 at the Emirates, their first home defeat of the season and only their third loss of the campaign so far. It shows that there is a lack of depth in that Gunners squad that Mikel Arteta knows he needs to improve on when the transfer window opens up, and they are now reportedly interested in Thuram. The Borussia Mönchengladbach striker has scored 12 goals along with 4 assists this season and is being targeted by other European giants. According to recent reports on Bild, Arsenal will have to shell out a fee of £10.4 million for the services of Marcus Thuram. The report claims that the World Cup silver medalist, pushing for a switch away from the Foles, the Gunners could pounce on this opportunity to bring Thuram to Emirates. Borussia Mönchengladbach would look to sell him in January for money instead of letting go of him for free in the summer of 2023. Reporter Lomi Stanley told IC Football News, "At the World Cup, he looked very impressive coming off the bench. He has real power, he has real pace, and the fact that he could develop into a class attacker means that he would be a bargain for Arsenal at £10.4 million. The Gunners may have other targets on their mind, but Thuram would be a very solid and exciting addition to that squad, that is for sure." Arsenal target Mykhailo Mudryk calls Mikel Arteta a top coach on Instagram. The Mykhailo Mudryk to Arsenal transfer saga continues, and the Ukrainian has now fueled the rumors even more by posting a video of Mikel Arteta from last night's game on his Instagram stories. David Ornstein revealed in December that Mudryk is Arsenal's top target in the January transfer window, while Fabrizio Romano has reported that the Gunners have even had a bid rejected by Shakhtar Donetsk. Talks between the two clubs continue, but Mudryk's desire seems very clear. Arsenal took on Brighton and Hove Albion in the Premier League yesterday, and Mudryk, as he did on Boxing Day, was keeping a close eye on the game. Goals from Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, Edin Ketia and Gabriel Martinelli sealed a very important win for the Gunners, and the focus now shifts to the January transfer window. Mudryk, who has scored 10 goals and provided 8 assists for Shakhtar in all competitions this season, is the man Arteta and Edu are reportedly trying to bring in. Following a rejected £45 million bid, the Times revealed that the Gunners are still some £35 million short of meeting Shakhtar's demands, but it really does feel like this deal will go through, mainly because Mudryk appears to be pushing for it. After posting an Instagram story of himself watching Arsenal beat West Ham United last week, the Ukraine international did the same yesterday as the Gunners picked up a win over Brighton. However, this time, his post was a video of Arteta and his old boss Roberto Di Zerbi on the touchline in first half stoppage time. His caption to describe the Arsenal and the Brighton managers read, "To top coach, Mudryk seems desperate to join Arsenal. He has constantly been dropping hints on social media about his desire to move to North London, and luckily for him, Arsenal reportedly want to sign him too. The Gunners have Gabriel Martinelli on the left flank, and he has been sensational. However, with Emile Smith-Rowe and Reiss Nelson both injured, Arteta has no backup in that position. Mudryk, a hugely exciting player, would be perfect, and it will be interesting to see if Arsenal and Shakhtar can reach an agreement in the coming days." I will be uploading daily Arsenal news show, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.